Ladies and gentlemen, it is finally time to crown the champion of the biggest Supreme Commander 2 tournament we have had in over 10 years with the 1,500 prize pool. Both of these players have already guaranteed themselves $250, which is bigger than any prize pool we've had in a while. So that's already something, but the winner of this best out of 7 will get the creme de la creme of $500. I am Nite of Misfortune. I am unfortunately casting this solo, but I hope that you guys will enjoy this gameplay between two legendary, absolutely legendary Cybran players. The overlay is a little updated. This is the grand final, guys, not the match for third place. I will update that in a bit. But anyway, let's introduce our first player, as we have already are having some action on the map. On the top left hand of the map, we have our Cybran commander hailing from Denmark, although he does live in the States. It is our red Cybran commander opening up with a single air factory and a land factory. Pretty standard for this map. I'm going to be really slow about how I do these overlays. Hopefully they won't lag out on me. His opponent also opening up with a single air factory. It is none other than the player from the Netherlands. They are practically neighbors, guys, as he's opening up with a single land factory. Of course, it is Nuclear Pizza, and also plopping down a land factory as well. So pretty standard so far. I feel like we'll see what Iron Commander does from here. There's a lot of options. I feel like he can almost keep tacking it. Looks like Iron actually lost some air here. I apologize. I can't get everything and introduce the players and introduce the match in the hype mode. But yeah, it looks like we are going to have some downtime here. I'm going to very quickly change the overlay to say the right thing for you guys. And yeah, so because this is a grand final and we had a double elimination tournament, Iron Commander came from the winner's bracket, so he actually has the 1-0 lead. So we'll only be playing a maximum of 6 games today. And yeah, so everybody has picked their maps. So we have an amazing lineup of maps, and I'm really hoping this goes to Game 7. I'm not going to cheer for anyone, guys. This is absolutely incredible. Cybran versus Cybran, especially in open palms, can yield just absolutely incredible play. So we will see what happens here, as Nuclear is going to use his planes to try and bomb a radar, but Iron Commander, oh my goodness, brilliant play here. He's going to block it with his commander here. And that radar is still alive, so we're not gonna get anything. We hopefully are gonna get an anti-air tower here. Yep, we are on that factory. It looks like Iron has stopped producing air as well, so that air is probably not gonna be too useful here for Nuclear for another couple of minutes, because we have a nice lockdown by Iron Commander on all these air points. Already we have a Loyalist harass coming out. Iron should be able to see it because of his placed radar. That is absolutely key here. However, he doesn't have too many Loyalists here, so we will see how exactly he deals with it. It looks like he's going to be sending some Loyalists of his own here, but that is not that many Loyalists because of the planes that are coming in. It's going to be very hard to deal with. That anti-air will help, however, has to micro his titties out here for Iron Commander, because that is so many Loyalists, but doing a really good job hiding behind that factory. Unfortunately, that factory is so big that the Loyalists aren't always going to fire. Has to keep moving here, has to keep moving the Loyalists, or else that mass extractor is going to go down. Would love to see an engineer also being rebuilt by Iron Commander there. And yeah, Iron now has an advantage here. Come on, Iron, you can micro this Loyalist out of the group. Okay, well, he still saves it, as that air is showing to be coming in. Let's see what Nuclear Pizza is up to. It looks like he is harassing on the other side of the map. And we honestly see that both these players are kind of playing with the same views, almost completely zoomed out. Very, very interesting indeed. But I think that's just their play style. They played so many games together, I'm sure, in preparation of this tournament. And they played a long time ago, you know, when when nuclear was in his prime. I don't know if iron was in his prime back then because he's just so good right now. But yeah, I don't know. So we already see a little bit of differences between the two builds here. This didn't really go too well for Foxtermelon, I feel like, when you prioritize research over expansion and production. Oh, interesting. Maybe Iron is reading this. I'm not sure, but he is plopping down a research station. He had queued up quite a bit of land factories, but instead he's gonna queue up 3 research stations. So maybe we are gonna go into that megalith play, and that would be so exciting. Honestly, on game 1, if we get megaliths and like cicadas going into minute 25, that would be absolutely incredible. We do have another poke attempt by Nuclear Pizza as he's sending some loyalists here on the bottom of the map. Should be easy for Iron Commander to deal with. I would be a little scared about Nuclear actually going into his main base here. Let's see how he responds, though. He should have plenty. Well, actually, no. He's outnumbered here with the Loyalists. Does have to be very, very careful here how he decides to deal with. Don't forget about that air. Wait. Is there air? Yeah, it's in the back right now. And yeah, I mean, Nuclear Pizza is going to engage here with his overwhelming loyalist count. And it looks like neither player has really upgrades on their bots, so that is pretty good. And Nuclear is going to use that actually to go and try and harass. What a crazy play. Nicely done. Just zoned out the loyalists to the main base. Now is going to harass the expansions. That is really geniusly done. Nice bombing runs by just 2 planes. I'm not sure what Pizza's doing with his air, but this is still enough loyalists to be doing quite a bit of damage. Let's see if there's structured deado. Not yet, but every single loyalist does end up going down for Iron Commander, and this is becoming quite a bit of a problem here. I'm not sure why we're not sending these loyalists over to the right-hand side, because there's a commander here, and we can build some point defenses here. I don't think it's too terrible of an issue here. And so far, Nuclear is playing a very nice positional war in this opening game, and it's very hard for I feel like Iron Commander to deal with because he didn't have as fast of that second land factory. So I don't know how exactly he's going to deal with these bots. Well, I guess you can just wait for your production to catch up here because there's no reinforcements coming. Now the problem is going to be over here on the top of the map. What do we got for Nuclear coming out? We've got 2. It looks like 2 energy generators and a megalith, ladies and gentlemen. Megalith is going to be plopped down first by Nuclear, which I honestly think, unless Iron doesn't place one himself soon, is kind of an advantage or giving the game back a little bit to Iron, because defensive play with megalith is a little easier, but we absolutely need to have megaliths being placed down soon. Unfortunately, Iron didn't end up placing those 3 research stations earlier, so he's a little behind, guys. He's a little behind on the research, and I don't think he's close to that megalith, which is very, very unfortunate. There's going to be engagement here, which honestly can go either way here, depending on the micro. Looks like Iron already losing 2 loyalists here for free. That air is going to also come in, and if this gets a nice bombing run, this is going to be very, very difficult to deal with. Air from Iron is also going to come in. There's a lot of anti-air here for Iron, so that should be okay, but it kind of doesn't get a good engagement. It does split the loyalists into 2, so that is very nicely done by Iron Commander. He's going to continue with his loyalists and kind of zones out Nuclear's loyalists out of there for the time being. But the first megalith, ladies and gentlemen, is on the way here, and that second gantry is also almost completed. So this is going to be very rough for Iron. The one thing that he does still have going for him is his superior economy, and he's placing down more land factories, which honestly, with megaliths, I mean, Nuclear is going to have most likely unit detonations. So it's going to be very hard, even with jump jets, to deal with the megaliths, and especially now because you're still kind of on even footing with these loyalists. A little bit of a missed micro by Nuclear, I feel like, and missed rally points by Iron. He really needs to fix those Air coming in here, but yeah, it's gonna pull out. And yeah, so we have basically two conflicting styles where we're going into experimentals here for nuclear, and Iron is just doing his Iron things and going mass land. And I think unfortunately this looks much better for nuclear right now. Especially, I didn't even realize this megalith was already out and so far up front. And I think honestly Iron might even GG here, because there's really not much you can do here. I guess you could try and go recyclers. Recyclers could buy you a little time, maybe shield generators, but once the Cicadas come out, and that's going to be very difficult. There are actually adapters here on the field now. That's not terribly bad, and I'm thinking that I don't know if this is a death march or a really cleverly set up flank, because this is ridiculous, guys. As Iron is trying to close down on this position from two sides, using his commander to hopefully get that megalith fire, but I don't think this is going to work too well. Let's see if Nuclear Pizza has Unidetto. I don't think he does, because that is just, I think, prime opportunity there for a Structure Detto or Unidetto, and he does actually have unit detonation and detonates all over Iron's units, and Iron does call GG. Very nicely played by Nuclear, but let's be real here and say that Open Palms is honestly a crapshoot between two very, very good players. So, and I think Iron didn't make too many mistakes there. Maybe on the build order a little bit, but I think there weren't glaring issues so far. So it's just 1-1. We're tied in the series, and we're going to go to game 2 here in a second on Desolatia. Don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss it. Welcome to game 2 of the grand finals of the 10-year anniversary tournament. We are tied 1-1 on Desolatia. Introducing our first player from Denmark. He is been an indomitable force so far in this tournament, but finds himself in a peculiar situation here that could go either way. It is our Cybran commander spawning in the bottom, opening up with an air factory and queuing up 2 land factories. His opponent on the top of the map, opening up with a similar build with what we've seen him do against Foxtremellen on this map. It is the brown commander from the Netherlands. He is a Nuclear Pizza, and he is opening up with 1 air factory and probably going to queue up 2 more land factories here. So pretty typical what we've seen so far. Actually, this might be the exact same build as what he just did on Open Palms, in which case it will be very interesting. It looks like both these players are actually opening up pretty much the same way. So 1-1 tie, Desolatia, of course, very interesting map. You can't hold this expansion very easily for either player, but Nuclear Pizza really likes to expand to that very quickly, and I think his playstyle has just been put on the aggression as much as you can. And yeah, I think that he's just going to push and secure, thereby securing this expansion here. Looks like Iron is going to try and hide his air here for as long as he can. Nuclear should be able to see it on his newly built radar here, and Iron does see the scout coming up, so he's going to try and get a very early air win. Nice little bit of micro by Iron, getting behind that plane. That plane is going to get a nice scout, but Iron is actually equal on planes, because Nuclear has been assisting his factory and Iron has been expanding. So that's a little bit of a difference there. I'm not so sure that I would be pushing out with these planes. Of course, Iron is not really aware of what's happening here, but I mean, I think it's just a tricky play. I think you just got to play it safe in a Cybran mirror like this. I mean, again, I don't know if he necessarily knows that this is an anti-air factory, but you're getting anti-air towers out provoking rather anti-air towers from your opponent. And, I just overall think that he's okay here. He can't really keep these loyalists too far out, but also it kind of occupies the planes from nuclear from going around and bombing his engineers, which is actually very important because these engineers are expanding really quickly and there's no anti-air over there. So, I mean, there is also the air from Iron, but I mean that's a dice roll that you can't really afford, I feel like, in a grand final of a tournament. So having a map presence in other ways, I think, is really, really important. And this is what I love from Iron Commander. In situations like this, he pushes out and he's going to use a little bit of those nuclear tactics here as he pushes out with his commander here. And he's going to try and set up a base here on the left-hand side, which I absolutely love because it does two things. I actually would probably like it more here, but I think it doesn't matter too much. It does two things. First of all, it secures your front position here. It puts pressure on your opponent on the top hand side, and it locks down your part of the map, at least the left hand side, zoning out these planes a little bit, which is very, very important. But you need to build an anti-air tower here on the right hand side. Super crucial. The next couple of minutes, super important. It looks like Iron is going to use this anti-air tower to push with his loyalists. I absolutely love this. I don't know why he's pulling back. I think he's a little afraid of those planes. Doesn't want to lose too much, but he also can't really afford Iron or nuclear building the the PD here, which is exactly what he's going to do. But he's going to do a little bit of a slower play. I also love this with his factory creep here. It looks like Iron may have stalled out there. It looks like it was his stream that is being a little laggy. But anyway, I think we're okay. He's back. He's microing. His stream is also back up. We can see that on the view here. And yeah, very interesting things happening as Nuclear is getting his Cobras again, so that is going to help him push this position. I think that's also very important here. And let's see what he decides to go for. I think he has to push this, and let's see if Iron Commander gets Cobras of his own, maybe gets some adapters. We've seen them in this situation before. I think yesterday when they played, I think I was watching Mechanized stream, and Iron was able to hold a very similar position, only worse, honestly. There was Cobras, adapters, there's a lot of things out. I don't know if there was air. I don't think there was air. I think Nuclear Pizza, the thing that he's doing differently today is he's actually opening up with air a lot. So obviously you can't do the same thing in every match, especially in a tournament that goes 2 days. So I think that he's doing absolutely the right thing, mixing things up here. Does have to be very careful still about these planes, because one bombing run, and really it doesn't matter too much if you win the air at that point, because obviously you won't have land. I'm not sure why Iron paused his air. That is a little bit of curious thing. I mean, maybe because he kind of locked down this section, but I don't know. I feel like he's not winning land that decisively, and we see a research station from Nuclear, but Iron is expanding. Iron is expanding, and he's going to have the superior economy here in the mid game. Probably does have to queue up a couple more anti-air things here if he decided to go against the producing air. Or did he resume it? No, he did not resume it. I would also love to see an anti-air tower here. Are we going to see anti-air here? No, it looks like, I think we have Loyalists coming out. Yeah, Loyalists coming out. I mean, I don't know why Nuclear doesn't just go and bomb the right-hand side of the map at this point. We do see Cobras as well from Iron coming out. Cobras from Nuclear are also starting to fire. There's a point defense that was built here. I don't like it because there's no shields over it, and we do have Cobras for Iron. There's something going around here on the right-hand side, but that Loyalist is not going to find anything, and we'll see what happens. And, you know, it might be a little too early to call it, but I think this research station is going to be used for nanogun once again. I really don't like what Nuclear is doing here. I think if Iron just focuses down those PDs, he's going to get a really big advantage here. I do like the zoning out with this point defense, though. That's really nice there. Anti-air is also coming in and going to... Oh, little split. No, but Nuclear doesn't even go for a bombing run here. Iron is going to probably press and use this to his advantage here, as that point defense is almost down here. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, wait, hang on. Well, there's no split from Nuclear, so that was a nice bombing run. Absolutely greatly performed by our Dutch player. No, wait. That's not Dutch. Dutch is Netherlands. I keep mixing those up. That might become a problem here, guys. Oh, man. Of course, I don't know. What would you call a person from Denmark? Danish, of course. I am dumb today. I'm very, very slow. Danish player and the Dutch player. Wow. Anyway, those Cobras are, like I predicted, putting in some heavy damage here. Not a great engagement. I thought Iron would get a good engagement here on his Geminis, but ends up losing half of his Geminis. Granted, he only had 4, but nevertheless, Nuclear wasn't even going for them. Does manage to get a couple of Cobras, so that will slow Iron down a little bit. And Iron is showing a couple of signs of indecisiveness here, trying to poke here, not really doing much. There are adapters now out in the field, which is fine. It's decent. This Loyalist did not manage to find anything like I predicted. And yeah, I mean, I think we just need to spam as many land factories as possible, and probably go adapters, because I almost guarantee at this point Iron or Nuclear Pizza is going to go for that nanogun weapon, because it's too obvious here, especially without shields against this amount of land spam. I think it's a no-brainer. The one thing that I think is a little hairy for Nuclear is that he's not expanding. And I don't know why, because he has the air control. He's not doing too bad on the land either. And yeah, I think he's fine. We do see finally adapters from Iron Commander coming out. Looks like there was a couple of rounds of those. But he's starting to lose units, or health at the very least, to mobile missile launcher fire, which isn't ideal here. Okay, finally this air is going to be used to come over here. There is an adapter and some anti-air over here on the right, so it shouldn't be too bad, especially with more adapters being produced here. Ooh, and there is an anti-air tower here on the right. That's not bad. Iron Commander is also meanwhile going to use that to attack on the left-hand side as well. There's so many fights happening right now, and looks like there is still a point defense, so I don't think Iron can push too much farther there. And that air for Nuclear also ends up being pulled back. And yeah, I think this is just going to continue being a stalemate until Iron feels like he has produced enough land forces to overwhelm his opponent. But that might be a little while, of course, unless we have some kind of mistake from either player. There are quite a few of adapters, and Iron Commander is just putting a lot of pressure right now. It feels like he has way more units, and of course I think Nano is a little far away for Nuclear. And even if we did have Nano, honestly, there's a lot of adapters right now, so I don't know. Oh, Iron does have to be careful with the unit dead or structure dead. Oh, actually both. There are possibilities for that happening as well. Yeah, so just crazy. I mean, it's going to depend. Both these players, absolutely, in a Cyber Mirror match, have to watch very, very closely every single move, every single corner of the map at this point, at this level in the grand final. When you're fighting for $500, you absolutely have to be careful. It looks like Iron's micro is top notch, however. Just absolutely incredible here, just narrowly going out of that of range of potential unit detonation. Planes are going to come in here, but they just narrowly miss the adapters going down. And I think Iron is getting the best of this. This land factory is likely to go down again. I think Nuclear has unit deto, but completely whiffs it. And I think that is the mistake that we were talking about just a second ago. And yeah, he did not mean to detonate everything. So that's a little bit of a mistake, and definitely might be a big deal considering the series is at 2-1 with an Iron Commander grabbing the lead. We're going to be back with Game 3, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Game 3. The score is 2-1, and you're wondering, why is it Game 3 if it's 2-1? Night of Misfortune, can you count? Well, yes. Sometimes. Possibly. Depending on the day and the brain state. But Iron Commander does have a 1-0 lead from the start because he comes from the winner bracket. So that is why it's only Game 3. And let's introduce our players and see what they are doing. On the top right-hand side, we have our Danish commander, the Red Menace, that has been showing some incredible play in this tournament. It is Iron Commander. He's opening up with an air factory and a land factory. It looks like his stream is a little delayed there, so that point of view might be a little behind, but nevertheless, I think you guys should be able to still gain some very interesting information from the way that these players play. His opponent on the other side of the map, the Brown Commander, that has been showing very creative builds that have proven very difficult for even Iron Commander. It is our Brown Commander of the Cybran faction. It is a Nuclear Pizza, and he's opening up with a single air factory build, the same build that he has been using today. Of course, it's a little different from what he was doing yesterday. I didn't see, of course, all of his matches, but I feel like he has been opening up with a land factory and a research station very quickly. And this time we do see a deviation here. Iron Commander is going to use his planes. Nice little bit of micro. I don't know if Nuclear knows about the stop function on the planes because he's been caught like this multiple times today. Another plane is going to come in for Iron. So I think they're going to end up trading here 1-1 on the planes. Or sorry, 2-2, rather. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. The Loyalists already coming in. Yeah, considering that the Loyalists are coming in, this is actually pretty nice for Iron Commander because obviously that thins down Nuclear. And Nuclear also, again, I don't know if Iron knows that this build order has Nuclear assisting his air factory here. And we might also have a kind of a meeting of the engineers here on the bottom as both of these players are going to try and set something up. Nuclear, of course, going for that land factory. And we'll see how Iron Commander responds. But let's see what these Loyalists are able to accomplish on the bottom hand of the map. It looks like they're being covered by the Geminis. So this will be very, very interesting. There's a potential for a lot of damage here from Nuclear, also from this factory on the other side of the map. So it will all come down, I think, here to air micro. And I think that Nuclear so far has an upper hand here. Does have to bring his Loyalists all away from the center of the map. Oh no. Iron actually only had 4 planes there to bomb the that radar. Of course, it takes 5. Nice little bit of a micro here from Nuclear as he's trying to reclaim that bot. But is he going to lose this engineer? Are we going to lose the engineer? Oh no, Iron, you had to keep microing your Loyalist. Oh, that was very close to being very good for Iron Commander, actually. Ooh, a capture going down, but I think Nuclear knows it, and he's going to get out of... No, he's not going to get out of... Oh, my goodness, barely gets out of the range there. More air coming in as the Loyalists are coming in here. We have an air fight, which Nuclear has the advantage in, and honestly, this is very rough for Iron now because he is... he's also over that anti-air tower. Yeah, that engineer gets reclaimed, and the whole right-hand flank gets shut down by our Dutch player. Yeah, and this is not looking good. I'll be honest with you guys. This is not looking good for Iron Commander, even though we're probably still a few minutes away from this game ending. This is obviously a very solid lead. Well, Iron does have the right-hand side. For some reason, Nuclear just doesn't like to expand to one side of the map. We've seen that on Desolatia as well. So yeah, I mean, research-wise, nuclear is definitely ahead. Production now, he's ahead. But they're kind of in weird spots here. So if Iron manages to find a way to somehow hold his flanks and solidify the center with factories, with a bunch of factories, I think we might still be okay. But obviously, that will require nuclear probably making a couple of mistakes, and also Iron just being on the tip top of his micro here. Loyalists are getting pulled back as there's a bombing run coming in on that center loyalist, not managing to get any AoE, but does take out a loyalist nevertheless. And we do have loyalists on the bottom side. I love this. He keeps on the pressure, might cause these planes to go back. And nuclear, I also love this, is sending his planes to take out the reinforcements from Iron Commander. And Iron, honestly, I feel like he just needs to stop air production at this point and go into like adapters or something. Although it is kind of slow. Yeah, that is kind of slow considering he's getting outflanked. It's really interesting though, because I thought that Iron Commander had a really solid plan for Arctic Refuge. I feel like he really, really likes this map. But yeah, it feels like his build, not necessarily his build, I think he just he went all in on the right-hand side where I don't think he really needed to. And this is going to end up costing him here as Nuclear Pizza is transitioning into his tower push. We're probably going to start seeing adapters as well as Cobras start to come out. There's not a research station yet, but we do see, but we have seen him take out a couple of Iron structures, and obviously a couple of the fights have gone in his favor. Iron probably should try and take out this engineer if he can. I don't think he's paying attention to that. He's microing in the center currently, which makes sense. I think that is definitely important. Oh, he's actually on the back foot here in the center as the point defenses are absolutely massacring this position here. And yeah, this is looking rough, very, very rough for the red Cybern Commander. Doesn't manage to do anything on the bottom side of the map either. And yeah, it looks like we're going to go to most likely game 4 here with a tied score. Very, very interesting. Yeah, expanding like crazy over there. Well, Iron is still expanding here. So again, if he magically solidifies this position, we might be okay. But I don't think he has the unit count right now. And once the adapters and the Cobras start coming out, which we just had our first Cobras come out, this is going to be very, extremely, extremely rough. I would heal this Iron instead of plopping down a new one. Wow, nuclear is actually going to retreat? Well, that's kind of surprising. Heal, Iron. You got to heal your tower. I don't know what was going on there, but whatever was there died very, very quickly. We do have another loyalist flank, and I think this one actually might pick off that mass extractor. Let's see if nuclear is aware of it. No, it looks like right now he is microing his front, which makes sense. More PDs coming out. I mean, this is really the important part, but I mean, Iron can, if he manages to solidify this again, like I've been saying for the past 2 minutes, I think he might be okay. So if he does find damage on the other side of the map, it's just much better for him in the long run. But yeah, that's a core mass extractor, by the way. So that is very, very good. Oh, I wish he split his units there, but again, I think his attention is on the front, which makes sense. Oh, he manages to take out these forward point defenses. There are Cobras coming out for Iron as well. So, I mean, this is still very favorable for nuclear, but it's not the end of the world. I might have been a little quick on calling this game, but I think nuclear does have a decent enough edge to still close this out. Adapters are coming out here, which is going to help with the air as well. Yeah, you can't really push out with that point defense out as well, Iron. There's still no adapters, so that's really kind of nice for Iron as well. He can be a little more adventurous, but not with that air coming in for a bombing run. Oh my goodness, this was a brilliant bombing run. Nicely done, and somehow he just keeps losing land units. And yeah, that honestly weighs this game towards Nuclear Pizza even more. I actually don't like this move because, I mean, these are newly built. I would just go and harass the main base. And there's actually enough of adapters here to where I feel like if they're spread, there's going to be enough of damage coming out on that air. And for some reason, we didn't keep pushing with this land. I think we're afraid of unit or structure deado a little too much. But still, I mean, guys, let's be real. This is a big advantage for Nuclear Pizza. Even though technically, I think Iron might have the lead on mass extractors. No, he does not have the lead on mass extractors. Yeah, now he's starting to lose his factories. That is never a good sign. In a fight like this, you do want to watch pretty much every building, but land factories are what's important, obviously. So you want to watch the land factories. It's almost like the health ticking down for either player to see. Oh, Megalith. I don't know. He's in the lead. I feel like when you're in the lead in a game of Supreme Commander 2, you don't really want to mix things up. You don't really want to mix things up. Of course, obviously, this is going to be good when it comes out. Don't get me wrong, but it gives the opportunity to Iron to come back in the current play of the game, which the current play of the game is spam until this is finished and the Megalith comes out. So you have to be really, really careful because Iron could come back here. There's honestly enough. I don't think this is enough to really fight this too effectively, especially with the Brackman. So I really do think that just gives an opportunity for Iron to come back. See, he pulls back from his nice position, harassing the base of Iron. But maybe this is the change to his build order that he needs to really solve the issue that he's been kind of having against Iron and Ares even yesterday, where defensively the PDs are pretty good, and he didn't manage to push them out. Oh man, these loyalists need to be pulled forward. The adapters are taking too much damage here, but that might actually give them a favorable engagement because they've wasted a lot of the fire. Decent split, but now there's no adapters. Yeah, and Iron loses that fight. And yeah, I think that once these megaliths do come out, I think definitely this will be a GG by Iron at this point. But I still do think that just going more into land spam would be better here, but I don't know. These players are way too good for me. I can't make any inferences or suggestions to them because they're just so good. It's incredible what both these players have shown today and yesterday. Obviously, reaching this final is a crazy feat that cannot be understated. But yeah, I suspect we're going to see a GG here from Iron Commander. There's absolutely nothing he can do about this Megalith, especially with the very, very likely unit detonation that Nuclear has at this point. And yes, indeed, we do see a good game from Iron Commander, and we are tied 2-2 in this final series. And we're going to go to Way Station Zeta next, and we will see what these players bring to a little bit of a different map. So we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back in just a moment. All right, guys, we had another crash here, but it looks like we didn't miss too much here. Nuclear Pizza and Iron Commander in Game 4. My stream thing messed up, so it's going to be pulling the incorrect overlays. I will update in just a second. But the air fight is going to be inevitable here because both players have opened up with a double air factory. It looks like it's a little bit of a stalemate here, so let me go ahead and update those for you. I really, really hate this software. It has so many benefits. I don't understand why they have this this overlay problem, and also why it's crashing so much for me. So apologies you guys missed the first 5-ish minutes of this game, but there hasn't been a whole lot of happening, so it would have been just a bunch of Nite of Misfortune rambling on about how these planes are sitting around and what these players could do. And at this point, it's really one thing that they could do is push to the center and grab control of the center, which makes the air fight easier. So I would say that Iron Commander at this point has a little bit of an advantage. And doesn't manage to plop down that land factory, unfortunately. So we will see as that mobile missile launcher of Nuclear Pizza starts working on the tower. And yeah, I think both players are going to expand here. Yep, Nuclear looks like is a little behind on the expansion, which is not necessarily. I mean, it's not huge, but every bit helps. I mean, when you have two great players, two Cybern players, it's really important for you to have every little bit of an advantage that you can. Sorry about that sound. And yeah, Iron really does this well. I really like it when Iron manages to grab the foothold in the center of the map. That's what he did on Desolatia. It worked out really, really well for him. And, this air is just not going to do much, especially if we get adapters, which I think is a really good possibility here. There is going to be 2 TMLs coming on those factories, which will give a good lead or a good firing power to Iron, and she shouldn't be able to lose much here at all. There's already anti-air here, so this air doesn't really need to move. And now we have kind of map control for Iron, and we have the positioning in the center as well, which is 2 very, very key things here. Nuclear, oh man, he doesn't. This is an idle engineer, guys. Yeah, so maybe Iron or Nuclear is feeling it a little bit. Of course, Iron has shown throughout this tournament that he's a little more of a consistent player. And yeah, I think, guys, that for the remainder of this final, I'm just not going to risk another crash because I thought it was going smoothly, but it really is 50-50. Every time I press that button to show you the player's overlay, I think it's too much for my computer. And just so you guys know, it's 2 monitors running 2K with basically 4 pages open with 4 feeds, 4 videos on one screen, and the game obviously running on the other screen. So even though this card is kind of effing up, it's still very, very impressive that it's able to do that. And I'm thankful that I'm able to bring you guys this match in good quality. So we're just going to enjoy what we have. Fortunately, we won't have the crazy control from either 2 of these players. It would be really fun to watch the Cyberns microing their titties off, but unfortunately I just don't want to risk it because I rather have the stream running smoothly from now on over seeing what they're doing. And I can kind of still look. I still have the feeds. I'm still looking at it. It's just when OBS has to pull from basically 3 different windows, it gets rough. Yeah, there's so many layers in this scene that it's kind of ridiculous. All right, so Iron Commander is pushing out with his mobile missile launchers. Of course, Cobras aren't terribly great against shields. We do have adapters also coming out, but this is a really good position. And honestly, on Waystation Zeta, just grabbing this position in the way that Iron has done it is really, really good. We already see the first land factory coming down. That area is just going to do one quick bombing run and retreat. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. Well, he does manage to retreat to his good position, but I feel like his planes aren't firing. Nice bombing run by Pizza 2 to take care of a lot of these mobile missile launchers, and I feel like that just wasn't very good from Iron Commander. Just a little bit of screw up on the control here. And, yeah. What did this Gemini go down to? Oh, there's an anti-air tower that's... Oh, no. Iron is not aware of it. Loses another plane. That's very unfortunate, but these Cobras are still doing damage here on the front. There's a lot of adapters here now, and that bombing run took care of quite a bit of these Cobras as well. Oh, that is a nice move. That is a nice move by Nuclear Pizza. That is actually the one thing that he can do to try and stabilize here. That's going to take out that expansion and give him quite a bit of research. We already have 3 research stations, so I know I've been calling it a lot in this game, but I think we are going to see nanogun because that's really the only answer that Nuclear can possibly have here. Yeah, I'm really concerned about this now. I'm really, really concerned about this. Yeah, that engineer is going to go down. Iron tried to be cheeky and try to save it over there, but yeah, I mean, Nuclear, if he looks over there, he's going to see it, so. Yeah, I mean, if there's a bombing run or anything that kills this blob, this is going to be very, very hard for Iron Commander. So I think he has to play it safe, just pull back, just keep doing what he has been doing, and I think slowly he might win this. The air factory positioning is not ideal here. I mean, ideally we would want to see one here with shields and anti-air that would cover that base. But it looks like Nuclear wants to return anyway, but now there's adapters. Bombing run coming in, and not a very good bombing run, or rather flyby at that point, losing one Gemini there. And yeah, I don't really like Nuclear coming back here. I mean, he's losing the land fight. Oh no, losing the units or land units to mobile missile launcher fire. That's never a good thing. Iron's going to try and engage here with his Geminis here over adapters, but unfortunately, again, I don't know what's going on with his air control right now. Trying to bait, relying solely on adapter fire to really do damage to that Air Force. And there's the nano gun. There is the nano gun. Iron's trying to split his units. Adapter's doing a decent job here. Gemini's coming in for a bombing run. This is chaotic fight here as more Geminis fall, and I feel like Nuclear Pizza isn't doing terribly much, but what this is doing is giving Iron more time to set up a base. I think he needs to come bring his ACU forward and start building point defenses, which is exactly what he is doing. This isn't terrible for Iron Commander, but Nuclear Pizza, I feel like if he was using this air to be harassing instead of trying to fight with it, he could be doing a lot of damage, and I would almost really like to see, not almost, I would really like to see Iron plop down a couple of anti-air towers, because those expansions is what's important now. In this stage of the game, he's not going to be able to push effectively. His forward position is, after this goes down, kind of nullified, because I don't think this can reach all the way here. Might be able to pick off the radar here, but honestly, from here on out, I think we just got to go into, research and go into artillery like we saw them go into on this map yesterday. Or we got to see a megalith. I think a megalith would be good here. I think that's what... Who tried that yesterday? Ares tried to do that, but at that point, by the time megalith came out, he was very, very far behind on his land, and the Nano was just able to rip apart through everything. I think he actually lost his gantry before it even built the megalith. So, but I think Iron is in a much better position here to do a little more damage. There's not that many point defenses here. Well, there's two, but with adapters, I think it should be pretty good for Nuclear. This is a nice move from Iron Commander on the top. I really like that. I think a lesser player would not have moved up here because they would be so focused on not losing the center. But you got to realize the center is kind of locked down. It doesn't really matter what Iron or Nuclear does. And it looks like Nuclear is going to try and... Is he going to try and go for the main base? I feel like Iron would have enough time here. Oh, yeah, jump jet into the main base. We might have a base trade, but that favors, I feel like, well... I don't know who it favors because Nuclear has the air right now. And I think we can still build up enough of a point defenses with all these engineers in the main base to be okay. Nuclear's taking a lot of fire. I think he might have just given up. Or maybe it was a mistake. He was still microing on his screen. I think maybe it was a mistake. But yeah, I agree. He was kind of very much behind here in this game. And 3-2. My goodness, the grind continues. 3-2. We're going to go to game number... Oh, this was 4, so 5. And let's see if Nuclear Pizza can bring it back once again. And it is going to be Powderhorn Mesa. A weird map. I personally don't like it, but people seem to like it. I don't know why. But anyway, guys, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We are on Powderhorn Mesa, bringing you this match number 5, 3-2. Iron Commander in a narrow lead. This keeps going back and forth. What a roller coaster of a grand final. I am absolutely loving it, and I'm also secretly happy we don't have an Aeon in this match. I'm sorry, Fox Jamon. I'm sorry, all the Aeon lovers out there and enjoyers, because we don't want to no homo, no Aeon homo. So we're going to introduce the players. On the right-hand side, we have our brown Cybern Commander, Nuclear Pizza. He's opening up with a land factory only. What is going on here? probably going to be an aggressive push, though. And his opponent on the other side of the map, it is our red Cybern Commander from Denmark, leading the series on match point. It is Iron Commander opening up with a double land factory, but he has 2 more queued up. What is this? Please don't tell me nuclear is... Oh, this is nuclear's factory. Sorry. That was really weird. Really, really weird, guys. Wow, that is that is a very aggressive push by nuclear. I mean, he's going to be able to set up a base, but it's basically going to be across from Iron. Excuse me. And Iron, I mean, he doesn't know it, but he's actually setting himself up in a really good position here. Already going to be a loyalist engagement. This is honestly going to be pretty key. So Iron has to, yeah, microing very, very, very well. And yeah, that's going to force the engineer of nuclear to retreat. And I feel like the key thing with dealing with this is awareness from Iron Commander, because if he's aware that this is coming, he has the defender's advantage. This shield is very crucial, but he might actually see this on his radar. So he knows now, especially with this radar coming out, that this is a very aggressive push. He has to respect it. And I think, yeah, I think you just got to push this out. Yeah, absolutely. It's all going to come down to ACU positioning and focusing down on the loyalist. Every loyalist helps. Already a shield in that forward factory. Is there going to be another shield? Nope. I think it's just going to be loyalists. And we might actually see just immediate Cobra transition. We might see the fastest Cobras in history here. I would not be surprised. Being very bold with this engineer, by the way. Let's see if there are any sneaky engineers on the map. It doesn't look like it. Iron beat Foxtermelon with that yesterday. I think that game 1 kind of... I honestly think that game 1 threw Foxtermelon off really, really bad. Ooh, Iron is going for a little bit of a gamble here with these loyalists. Oh, this is so interesting, guys. Yeah, going for a little bit of a gamble with these loyalists. Nuclear is also actually going to pull back. And I think that's incorrect. But also, you can't really push this. So, yeah, I mean, going to the center of the map, guys, it's going to take a... Oh, ho, ho, ho. Brilliant. Iron Commander realizing that he has the unit advantage and just picking off a loyalist here and there. And honestly, I already think we have our champion, guys. I think we have our champion. Nuclear is messing up on his Cobra control as well. He knows it too. He calls GG. Not the best of games from Nuclear Pizza. And a 4-2 win for Iron Commander. Absolutely incredible, guys. I'm going to throw it to the brackets, and I'm going to try and get Iron Commander, our champion, for an interview. It's been a while. I think the only tournament that he's won was the fall tournament last year. So I'm going to throw it to the brackets, guys, and I'm going to try and get Iron Commander in for an interview, and then we're going to wrap the day up. That was a very abrupt conclusion to the day. So that kind of threw me off, but very well played by Iron Commander. I'll be right back. If you're still watching, give a thumbs up to this video. If you liked the video, leave a comment. If you loved the video, please subscribe. And if you are blown away by it, check out my Patreon page. This has been Nite. Take care and peace out.